there's people who are like, well, I mean, what's the difference in what he did and Colin Kaepernick did? One person protest was like, I am protesting the fact that black people are dying at the hands of law enforcement. And the other's like, I am protecting my right as a black man to die at the hands of this disease.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Random Ass Conversations with Twilla ellipses _ Dion Lack.
Dion, you are a mess. That is not it.
Yeah.
And it's Random Ass Combos. You had the Ursations.
Well, if this was my show, I would have said conversations.
Would you still put .. ellipses
yes.
_
yes.
hyphen?
This is not
Dion.
my show. This is not my show at all. This is.
If it was your show, would you have done all that still?
The name would have been totally different. It would have been Racks with Lack and this other fool. That's what it would have been called.
And who would have been the other fool?
Whoever's my guest. And then the fact that I can never get a guest to come in, it'll be this fool again, again. So, welcome back to Rack with Lack and this fool. What fool we got today? Oh, we got Twilla again.
Wow.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another fantastic show. We got a lot of hot topics that we want to dive right into. Unsolicited. We're not going to give you any warnings, but we will say, how are you? Mentally, physically, and spiritually. Ask yourself. I got to give a little word in the beginning because, you know, your boy got his clergy ticket today, you know?
You get a ticket for being a clergy?
I got a clergy ticket.
A ticket? Do you have to pay for it?
Yeah, that's what it is. They say, hey, if you want to be the clergy thing, it's gonna cost you like 2 racks. I said, say less. I want to save souls and marry people, man.
So you have to pay to save souls?
It's a ticket. It's a certificate.
A certificate, because a ticket and a certificate are two different things.
Well, I mean, you old, so you don't know the new slangs. So when people say that's a hot low ticket,
they're talking about a certificate.
Yeah, certificate.
I feel like you're full of BS.
I am full of a lot of defecation, or origined from the cow's insides.
So BS, got it. Yep. That's wonderful.
Boston State as well.
Well, you seem to be on one. I like it. How are you feeling?
Hey man, I was on 2. Then I went back and I hopped right on to the number 1. You know.
Yeah.
So I did there.
Yep, I did.
I'm in the scalp of Neo.
You're Brian McKnight. Back.
No, that's back. You stretched it, yo. Yoga. You stretching it.
It's like back to 1.
No, you went back to 1.
Yes.
Okay. I was on 2. But now I'm back to 1. Brian McKnight. Rubbing Neo's scalp, the 1.
Okay.
Jet Li, the 1.
I don't know that one.
The movie is a movie called The One.
Oh.
I'm back on 1.
Okay. I like it.
I'm on 1.
I like it. Got a question for you.
Go for it.
We just doing random ass questions today.
Okay, we're gonna do random ass conversations.
So what part of adult life surprised you the most?
I did not just recently become an adult.
But what part of it surprised?
At the age of 21?
No, like looking back, because I feel like in adulting there's levels to it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you go to college. Like for me, I went to college, and college gives you that.
Was that a shade right there? For me, I went to college.
You went to college, but I'm saying you won't let me finish. So I went to college, and for 4 years, I stayed on campus, right? So I technically was an adult, but I technically had like the backing of my parents.
Sure.
So it was like that in between little freedom thing, but you thought you were being an adult and dealing with adult issues.
Right.
I got this. I'm grown. And then fast forward to like, oh, you know, like you moved to LA, your parents ain't paying for ish.
Yeah.
And it's all on you. That's a different type of.
Oh, it gets real.
A different type of grown.
Yeah, I ain't paying for that parking ticket. No, that's your fault.
I'm sorry. I melted when my parents said, we ain't paying for your cell phone no more. I was like, y'all had one responsibility.
One? They had several.
I mean, granted, you had 5 kids on this one phone bill, but like, I was like, what?
Bills is always a smack in the face. A smack in the face with no apology. I think the first reality of, oh, that's what that means. was when you got arrogant with Discover cards or credit cards. My Discover card bill, they gave me a limit of $800. He said, he was just like, this is free money. That's how he sold it to me. This is free money. And then they said how they sell it was like, you have up to a whole year to pay, this back with zero interest. But it's like, but if you be late on a monthly payment, all that zero interest goes away.
Yeah.
So I heard zero interest for a year, meaning I don't have to pay any of this back. Yep. And I went a whole year, and I was like, I'm starting to feel like this rate don't seem right. Like, how did y'all give me $800 at the age of 18, but now I'm paying back $12,000?
Right.
Like, how did this happen? So that's
$12,000.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, $1,200.
Ooh, I was like, Jesus, what is that APR?
I just paid it off Tuesday.
I think like it hits me with, because sometimes like, because I'm in the beautiful place where like I'm single and I ain't got no kids, but then I look around and all my friends are either like married or married with kids or just have kids, and I'm like a kid playing an adult sometimes. That's like funny. I don't have like real responsibilities. I have real responsibilities, but it's still just a little bit more freeing. Like I can go on vacation and not be like, who's gonna watch the kids? Right. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
I hope you don't have that mindset. I don't care who watches. I'm going to Seychelles.
Seychelles, here I come.
Yeah, I hope you don't do that. Who gonna watch the kids? I don't care. Yeah, man. That's tough because I would say being a parent late is gonna be shocking because I think you're kind of settled into a routine, but you're still kind of settling down. It's good that you got your partying or living life early. Mm-hmm. And now that you're kind of like, I don't need to go out no more. I don't need to go do that stuff no more. I think that becomes more like prepares you. Like I'm home anyway. Yeah. Or I don't mind not going out anyway.
I kind of enjoy the idea, like, because I know, like, you see, like, those memes of people saying, me on vacation while all my friends having kids late or taking kids to kindergarten. And in my head, I'm like, I've already settled into, like, this lifestyle and a set of expectations and financially a place where I can do certain things that I couldn't do in my 20s. And yeah, I got all these experiences. Like, you don't want to be like experiencing stuff for the first time with old knees. You going to the club funny. Like in different countries and meeting different people and going hiking and stuff with old knees. It's not the same. Yeah. All you can do is really stay on the resort. No shade.
But if you got money, get some new knees.
You can get some new knees.
Mm-hmm. New knees, who this?
So I definitely think, but I do think, should I have kids in the next year or so, I'm definitely thinking about like, baby's got to get a passport, got to put the baby on the back while we travel in different countries, different things like that. But just like, I get to know myself better because I imagine it's hard to have kids young and then you pour everything into them, or even get married young and you really don't even know yourself fully or grown into who you are. Right. It makes it a little bit more difficult. So I think that's the the give and the take. Now I am going to be like 80 at PTO meetings, but whatever.
PTO meetings in 80? No. That's 40 years. Like, how many children are you planning on having? Like, yeah, so at the age of 40, that's when I started my children family. Yeah, I had one each year. So now
how good are my ovaries? Man, I mean, goodness.
Man, that's funny.
Yeah,
it is.
It's hilarious.
Great question.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to jump into it though. To these
All right,
topics,
here we go. Let's go.
Hot topics from the random ass mug available in the Lacktoast merch store.
Hey,
you like how I did that there?
Hey.
Okay, I am starting off with fired ass.
Oh boy.
You good?
I thought are you firing me? So about to be back to rack the lack. Are we gonna do rack the lack? You fired me already?
We got to talk off camera. Okay, so the Raiders coach John Gruden resigned after a few emails surfaced. Have you heard about this? Of course you have. You watch sports. In 2011, he made some racist comments that surfaced about DeMorris Smith. And it said, I guess the email was like, Dumb Morris Smith has the lips the size of a Michelin tires. And this was to the person. He was the head of the NFL Players Association during that lockout period. So I guess he had some words. But I think they're willing to let it just kind of pass. But then there was an investigation into all these emails. So there was more. Right. And so you couldn't just put that as a one-off, like, oh, he was just picking on physical appearance. It's like, no, he has these type of thoughts towards other people. So, you know, in his emails, he was degrading like women refs and also gay players. And so my real question was like, one, how did these emails come out? Like, who leaked these emails? Do we know that?
That's not the
That's one of my questions.
Focus. What is your question?
That's one of my questions.
Okay.
But next question is like, people receiving this email since this was 2011.
Yeah.
Why is this just now coming out? What was people's response when they got
He
the
has
emails?
a tribe. He has a tribe of people that's like, yeah, send me more, John.
That's hilarious.
What's the reply?
Yeah. Like, or were they just ignoring it to protect their tails? Or were they like, yeah, and so-and-so got whatever, like an 8? Like, is this just like a back and forth conversation?
It has to be a back. There's no way... There's no way you can shoot off that many bullets of hate and then no one responds with the same sort of energy,
right?
And you keep going like, nah, huh? You agree, right? Huh? All white people are this. All white people are this. All Asian are this. All black people are this, right? Huh? If he's bombing on emails, he has to understand like, okay, I think you guys are teaming up on me. They were replying back like, yeah, and you know the Indian guy looks like this. Oh, what else you got? Right. No, I think it has to be two-sided.
So it's like a whole culture. It just kind of lets you, like, when you think back on like the NFL and just like the recent years, because this was I think the last email was 2018. So if you think about like the NFL and like how their response was initially to Black Lives Matter, to like the kneeling Colin Kaepernick, like this was is an entity that kind of like celebrate. That's the culture of this place. Like that's what they did. And you know, often you hear about like NFL and NBAs are just like slave mentality, and where you have the owners and the slaves and that sort of thing. And it's kind of like, well, you're not making yourself look any better when, like, it's not just John Gruden. Other people in this organization,
a lot of them.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, he had to retire because he can't go back in the locker room like. Crazy what's happening in the news, right? So we're gonna beat those Green Bay Packers or what? Huh?
So, Coach, I have another question. What you say about?
Yeah. We're gonna get to that. Hold that thought. We have to focus on what we're gonna do with Aaron Rodgers because he's getting really mean.
But what you said about women, my mama a woman.
Yeah, I agree. So we gonna touch on that. This is halftime, so can we focus on the fact that?
Hey, so DeMorris Smith, you talked about his lips. Who else's lips did you talk about?
Semantics right now, okay? Do
you think all black people lips are like the size of Michelin tires?
I see where this is going. Hey, I'm going to resign because I see now.
Yeah, you should. And what you said about gay people ain't cool, man.
Why y'all putting y'all equipment on? What's that about? All right, fellas. You want some gay? That's funny.
Yeah, man. I don't know if that's the end. Like, I feel like every day you keep hearing like a little something else. So
it's gonna keep coming out,
and it's a full investigation now. So I feel like right now some people are in HR offices like,
please, I messed up.
It's like, well, you understand, like, this is going to be leaked. I got to let you go. It's going to be some coaches, some managers, some, you know, like admin level people who are all.
What bothers me is these are company emails, man. These are company emails. I can see somebody secretly being recorded on the phone or something, and then some white guys are having conversation, or they just drunk and having fun, but you are typing this out and sending it
on company email, so they can go through the server. Man. You have control.
They're high-fiving each other through emojis.
I can see anybody's emails who has a lacktoastent.com thing. Like, I have that admin access.
Yeah, and I'm sure with that sort of with the NFL and their sort of servers, as much as you delete, they still have that stuff backed up.
Yeah,
because this is money we're talking about. You can't say I never said that. I never signed that contract.
And people keep receipts.
Yeah.
Like, there are emails that I have from 2006.
Right.
You know, like
you can erase on your end, but I still got it.
I still got it. Yep. Matter of fact, let me download this right now.
I think everybody should go in their Twitter, their Facebook, and just search your name and then all derogatory terms, and just delete them. Even though Twitter still has a backup, just don't let someone that has hate on your career or passion to search these items and find the most derogatory terms known to man.
It's not worth it. One, but also unless that's just you, unless you this gonna be my mountain to die on, my hill to die on, my freedom of speech. Like if that's just you. I mean, poor you, more power to you. But it's still it's not worth it. Delete it. A lot of stuff, I think, in this so-called cancel culture that we have, where people pull up old tweets and stuff, the problem is, some of those people might have actually really changed in their thinkings in that time, but just never thought to go back and think about, how harmful this was or how it didn't age. I wonder how it worked. For example, Kevin Hart, Old News, with his tweet where, this anti-gay tweet that he had that people really were upset about. If he had found that himself and was just man, this was very horrible, did not age well. I apologize to everyone. Instead of putting it in the hands of letting people handle that. I don't know the best PR move for that.
Do you think you have a squeaky clean Twitter? If I search your Twitter right now, your name and any sort of slur or gay,
I would definitely think so, but that's just something I try to practice in my daily life.
Search it right now.
Go ahead.
You search it.
My Twitter.
Search Twitter, Twilla, Amin, and gay. I'm
just
sure.
Just Google.
No, it's a Twitter thing.
Oh.
I did it and it's. I found stuff that was silly, but it wasn't derogatory. I had said...
Just in the search?
Yeah, yep, right there. I had searched Dion Lack gay, and then from 2009, it was something I never seen gay grandpas. And even though that's ignorant, it was just it wasn't that thing at that time.
I have a quote from Glee where it says, "Did you know dolphins are just gay sharks?" That was a quote from Glee.
Right.
And then Kevin Jonas engaged. How sweet. Destroys my whole he's gay argument.
Who?
Kevin Jonas.
Who's that?
One of the Jonas brothers.
Okay.
Joe, Nick, Kevin. And this one is a couple news article about gay couple.
Look at you,
Malawi.
And your little squeaky clean Twitter. Yeah, but I see you delete 5 of them before we start reading.
That fast?
You ain't gonna find me. You ain't gonna catch me. Go for it,
man. All right. The season change got my allergies on one.
Yeah, I did hear you coughing and clearing your throat a couple times. I had to turn my back to you.
It's whatever.
Had to turn my back to you.
Yeah, it's that, and then when the Santa Ana winds hit earlier this week.
There's no such thing as Santa Ana winds.
What is it then?
They went out in 06.
They just stopped.
They're called clearances now.
Clearances.
They're colonized into a different.
So the whole wind. Wow. This next topic is suck ass.
You just okay. All right. 30 weeks in. I'm sick of Twilla writing these out and printing them out. Okay? If she cared about the earth and green, I think she should just write it in her laptop. Bring the laptop, what she has here, and just read them off. There's no point, people, please, can y'all agree? There's no point for her to print these out. I know it's great visually. I know it's great visually.
I said, can I just recycle the paper?
Can you just stop printing out the paper? Read the topics from your laptop.
But then it's no longer random.
What's that?
It's no longer random.
It's not random.
It is. The order that we discussed it is random. It is random, Roderick.
So if you
Roderick, it is random.
But if you say 10,
it is
if you say, hey, what number do you want to read? I'll be like, do 6. I'm like, we got 6 topics, Dion. Which one you're up? Like 4. That would be random because I don't know what the topics you're doing.
Wow. I like how you come on air ready to produce, but when I ask you behind the scenes, you be like, whatever you want.
Absolutely not.
It's not, y'all. This is supposed to be best friends right here. But you see how he set people up?
Yeah, because I want y'all to see the truth, the reality of who we are.
Talk to me.
Oh, okay. Stems, what's his name? Talk nice to me. What's his name?
Tim's?
Tim's? No.
Who are you talking about?
All right, this is going too far. Where's the kids? Daggone it. This whole joke has crashed and burned. I'm looking for the black box now.
Suck ass. So.
That don't even make sense.
Suck ass jobs.
That's more of a sucky ass. Yep. Suck ass sound like an insult. Yay! You should suck ass.
You should. Thanks.
It's a weird foreplay. It's like, hey, are you giving me a hickey on my butt cheek? I'm sucking ass. Suck ass, right?
So. All right, so we talked about the IATSE possible strike of the Hollywood workers. So today, the IATSE union president announced that if an agreement is not reached, a strike will begin nationwide at 12:01 on Monday, October 18th.
Can we go back for a second? What's IATSE for the people who those don't know?
Who doesn't know what IATSE is?
For those who don't know what IATSE is,
who's in those? Who's in that group of who doesn't know? I just want to hear you say it.
I'm in that group.
So IATSE is the name of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Workers. I can't think of that last E. But we are basically, it's made of...
Are you part of the IATSE?
I am part of IATSE.
IATSE sound like the noise that IOTA people say when they get excited.
IOTA people?
IOTA fraternity.
Never mind.
IATSE!
That's what you think they sound like?
IATSE!
Woo! So basically, it's the union of crew members, Hollywood below the line crew members, and it's about 60,000 of us nationwide. And so those are all like the positions like grips, gaffers, DPs, makeup artists, costumers, production coordinators, accountants, so many different, every position, crafty, like all these different positions. Oh my gosh, I need tissue.
Twilla does cocaine.
Please.
Twilla does cocaine.
My nose is suffering over here. But anyway, so on union productions, which are most any and
booger sugar.
What?
Twilla does that booger sugar.
That's disgusting. Is that what you call it?
That nose candy. That booger sugar.
Anyway, Roderick.
That's sweet and discreet.
Anyway, so that includes all like union crews, like any of the big movies and television shows. Most of those are union. The only ones that usually aren't union would be like your reality TV shows. So that means all productions would come to a halt. There's not too much you could do. Like the actors can show up, but you don't have no one to do their makeup, but don't help them with their clothes. You don't have anyone to light the stage. The directors don't have any camera people. So it just impacts everything. You don't have anyone to send out call sheets. It's just not going to happen. So it brings the whole production to a halt. And so that impacts all the workers across the board, across the unions. And that impacts eventually what you see on TV, depending on how long that goes. So, like, we think about, like, COVID is the last thing that kind of shut Hollywood down for a minute. But then you also had, like, in 2007, 2008, there was a writer strike. That mess lasted for 14 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
And you saw a shift go from, like, live action to, like, reality TV show around then.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I know that so well because I came out here to get jobs in regular production and there was no work at that time. I chose a pretty bad year to move out here. So it was
to do what you wanted to do.
To do what I wanted to do. So there was no work on that end. And depending on, like they're saying, like the studios aren't really taking our grievances seriously. And again, we're looking for like a living wage, better work conditions, reasonable rest periods. I don't think it's asking too much. Like, and they're not taking the same sense of urgency. So to set down a date and say, if we don't come to an agreement by this date, we're walking. Which, and I said that suck ass because, like, there's many of us, we all voted for this. Like 90% of us, 96% of us voted for this because living wage, like, is a real serious issue. But at the same time, like, because we don't make that much when we're working, it's going to hurt our pockets to strike. Yeah. Like, I'm on a gig now, and after this week, it's like, I don't know if I'm working. Right. And I don't know what that translates to.
The funny thing is, this is a 4% is like, I'm fine with it.
It is what it is. And it's probably this 4% who's making really good money.
I'm fine. What's happening?
It is what it is. Yeah, but I think workers in general across the board are just kind of fed up.
Well, how would you guys feel? I'm not doing the math properly, but what if you were working a movie that is 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, for a whole month, right? Mm-hmm. Or would you want those same amount of hours, 8 hours a day, off on the weekends or off 2 days for 4 months?
Well, it'd probably be 2 months, but yeah, it would. That was the better option.
I gave away. Yeah. I gave away 2 days.
You gave away.
So it's 1 day a week off.
An additional day a week.
I've worked this job. You only got one.
Yeah, and those are hard.
Yeah, 12 hours.
Those are so hard.
And sometimes you go 16, 7 hours.
And when you say 12 hours, that's just for the people on the set. For those of us who are in office, or for those who have to wrap up, it's more. So that's where you get like the 14, 16 hours on set. Right. And then you have to be around the next day. So they're saying reasonable rest. Right. Like, give us 12 hours turnaround. Yeah. The less because people are missing out on like family life and kids life. These are people's careers. People who are providing for their family, but their kids hate them or don't know them. Yeah. And there's a term that a lot of people, they say like, oh, I'm a production widow. Like, wives who are like, I never see my husband. Yeah. Or vice versa, husband, wives who don't get to see their significant other because the hours are so crazy. And if you're both in production, you never see each other. It's really, really difficult, and it doesn't have a work-life balance. And, there's old school people who are like, well, that's just the way it is, and that's how I came up. And it's just like, well, it's not healthy. Right. I think COVID helped
unless
show
y'all work together.
Yeah.
But then it's still kind of like you don't know how to separate.
Yeah, work and
home.
Yeah. I think COVID gave us that reality, like, that this could be better. And I think one thing that also shook it up in the entertainment industry is that when we came back after the COVID shutdown, COVID made it harder, like even harder. Now you're doing all this. Now you have to get tested. Now you have to quarantine, and you have to do it all with a mask on. Right. And now it's adding days, but you're trying to make sure we're healthier, but it doesn't really feel healthy because we're working these crazy hours. We're not getting enough rest. Can't drink water on set because you're behind a mask. It's just like different things that's just amplified it. And recently the Jolts report, which is like,
what is JOLTS for the people who don't know
it's
what JOLTS
the
means?
job opening and labor. Remember what the
transportation
something survey. Let me see. Jobs opening and labor turnover survey. So basically, this report comes out every month, and it just talks about. I think this latest one gave us a report about August. It said 2.9% of the workforce quit in August, which is the highest percentage of the workforce that has quit since the report started in 2000.
Wow.
And that's up 242,000 people since July. So the number has risen since July of people who just quit. And they're attributing that to people are sick of the work conditions and they want better pay and they want more flexibility. So it's just not an IATSE Hollywood crew labor thing. It's across the board. And they say this kind of happens like after like major world wars and major catastrophes. People are rethinking things. And I just thought it was funny because you know how people are like, well, when unemployment dries up, the federal unemployment, people are going to be looking for jobs. And it's like, not really.
Right.
They might be, but other people are going to be quitting. Like, so it's not balancing it out.
You know what's funny though? The shift is hysterical. So yes, people are looking. So yes, people are quitting, pursuing their own jobs and their own career and their own passions, but they realize that all that savings that they've had dries up, and now they're like, hey, Mr. Harold, could you hire me again?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's hard to see the bigger picture and to weigh the weather of bills and wear and tear, the roofing breaks, or my products. Oh my God, the shirts was how much? I have to pay for construction. It's like you're not factoring all that stuff. It's like I need to make $100,000 this month. It's like I've used all my savings.
It's so like I do definitely like I think like of course happier employees make for like happier workplaces and more satisfied employers. And so I definitely get the idea of I understand why people are quitting, but if it's to be a business owner or entrepreneur, listen, this life is not for the faint at heart.
Oh no.
Like, I have anxiety often about different things.
Bad boys.
Yeah. And it's just like, sometimes I think like, wow, people really didn't tell you. Like, they'll be like, oh, it's not easy. But they're not telling you why it's not easy. And I read books. Like, I read books of people who are like, oh, yeah, I had to take out a second loan on my mortgage. But they don't tell you it's like you will wonder how you're going to pay rent often. You're going to wonder how you pay your employees, how you get this project done. And it will stress you out. And, and you will have to sacrifice a bunch of personal things. Like, when hard doesn't describe it, I think. Or hard sometimes only feels like a period of time. Like, it will be hard for a little bit.
Will you take it personal if you got laid off?
If I got laid off?
Like I'm making great money here.
Yeah.
And then they like, hey, man, Twilla, yes, I agreed to pay you $100,000 a year. Bad on my part. I went over my budget tremendously.
Yeah.
I have to let you go and then start over again with somebody else, possibly making $40,000. So I'd be like, I understand it, but yes, I'd be offended. Like, you're gonna keep. Why are you offended?
Because I'm good at what I do. You just gonna let me go?
Or are you gonna accept the $40,000?
No, but you're gonna keep Carl.
Well, you just assume that there's other people still staying there.
I assume that Carl is still there. I'm very hurt.
No, they say no. You're one of 10. they going down the list.
It's not just me.
No, they're going down the list of people trying to say, okay, we got one down. Let's bring in Carl.
If Carl's getting laid off too. Okay, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I understand. It sucks.
Yeah, like our accountant lied to us.
Yeah.
We don't have that type of money. The way we're going financially, the agreeing to pay 10 people $100,000, it's not happening.
Well, can you pay 5 people $100,000 and let Carl and Cynthia and Jen and Thomas go?
So, yes, but here's the thing. If we go by sales numbers, you're number 6.
Wait, what?
We're not going in alphabetical order. Yes, you would be first in alphabetical order, but Carl's number 1, Cynthia's number 2.
Carl makes more sales than me?
Yes, just by 45%.
But I helped Carl get his sales.
Apparently, he's the top sales rep.
He told me he was struggling.
Okay, I see where this is going. Security, she's not taking the second deal.
Yeah, I would, especially if I know I'm good at my job. Like, it would.
But I don't think y'all really discuss y'all comparing.
Yes.
You're not.
What word were you thinking?
I said comparing.
I know, and I'm like, what is that?
I don't think you guys.
Co-parenting?
Yeah, maybe. She said yes. I don't think y'all compare each other's like sales.
You see what people contribute and what people do. If Carl comes in late every day, never is like doing the phone or doesn't want to commit to the team stuff.
Are you snitching?
Listen, I don't like Carl.
Hypothetically, obviously, this is a person we don't even know who his work capacity. What I'm asking is if you see something that's lacking in the workplace, do you tell? Or do you just kind of like, you don't get it? I'm not going to be one to tell. Or you be like, hey, Mr. Gerald, Carl has been coming in late.
Let me put you on to game.
You'll do that?
I'd be like, I'm not going to like just cold snitch. Let's call it cold snitch. I'm not cold snitching. That's just rude.
You're sizzling red hot snitch.
I'm going to be more so like, hey, is it cool if I come in like at 10 tomorrow? No? Oh man, I just didn't know if it was like a policy because I know a couple of other employees tend to come in like closer to 10 every day. I didn't say a name.
Yeah.
I just want y'all to know that I see it.
Yeah, this is how I snitch. I like what you're doing there. That's definitely shade. That's definitely shade. This is what I would do. I would bring up an assignment that Carl's responsible for that will make the boss contact Carl. So I was like, hey, do we have those reports from Chicago or so? You know, Carl's got to do that. Oh, hey, you want to call in Carl so we can figure that out? Hey, Carl, come in, please.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought Carl was here. And when Carl comes in, you tell him to give me a call.
Or let Carl have not started that project and be like, oh, I really need those numbers so I can process the report for the next round for the clients down in Chicago. Oh yeah, Carl has that. Hey Carl, can you send those numbers? Just 1 second. Well, you know, my deadline is tonight, so I really need those numbers in order for me to finish my project.
And see you dip down in the cubicle like this. Twilla, can I talk to you in the break room real quick? Twilla, can I talk to you in the break room?
Carl, hold on. I'm working on the project. I'll be there in, give me 5 minutes.
You're in it all. Oh, girl, what you get in here? On fight.
Carl, second thought, I'm running to lunch. Yeah. Okay. Put you on the game. Yeah. I guess we think the same.
Mine's is more smoother. Yours was very shade. Yours was shade.
All shade.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just thought like.
I thought it was a policy thing. I thought like since everybody else is kind of doing it, who's everybody else? I'm not saying anybody.
This is not a policy. I'm not. No,
I'm not snitching.
I'm not that person.
No, go for it. Go for it. Who you think?
No, seriously, that's not my position. I feel uncomfortable that you're asking me to do so. So
then next, like 12:45. Twilla, did you tell Mr. Harold that I was coming late?
What? No, I never said that you came in late.
Everybody said they saw you inside his class in his room, pointing at my desk. The
I never said that you came in late. Never said it.
I'm flattening your tires when you outside.
Joke's on you. I took Uber today. All right. I think we got this one more. Stubborn ass Kyrie. You know what I'm talking about when I say Kyrie?
Okay.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
There's no other Kyrie.
Okay.
There's a Tyree.
Is there a Kyrie?
Like Kyrie, Elaine.
Oh, like you mean? I thought you meant basketball player.
Well, there's a couple Tyrees. Oh, we got some clients calling in.
It's unknown. Should I take it?
Yeah, why not? Let's see the white voice of Twilla. Go for it.
Lacktoast Entertainment.
She's a fraud.
They're a fraud too. There was nobody on the line.
Ah, you heard me. Go
It's
for
not
it.
my white voice. It's my professional voice.
This is the Twilla was talking to the client. Laugh now, heard the random jokes. They were like, "Hey, today is Tuesday." Oh, yes, it is. Ain't nothing funny about they saying it.
Listen, my coworkers would come into like my office, like at the production office, and if the phone rings, I'll be like, "This is Twilla or production office," and one of my girls was like, "I have never gotten that voice from you." I'm like, this is my professional voice.
Yeah.
Like, why should I? You're one of my girls.
Yeah. That's funny.
Like when she calls, I'll be like, "What up?"
Yeah. What up?
But then I learned not to do that because she's like, she was often in the office with the big boss, and I'm like, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let me stop doing that. They think I'm silly. Anyway, stubborn ass Kyrie. Brooklyn Nets Kyrie Irving is refusing to get the COVID shot. And so basically he can't, according to, was it New York, they can't play in the stadium if you're not vaccinated. So he can't play home games, but he can play away games. But then now more recently, the Brooklyn Nets just kind of was like, well, if you're not going to play part-time, you can't play at all right now. Pretty much it's like you can't practice or play with the team. So he's losing money each game he's not playing, like close to $400,000 each game he doesn't play. And well, granted, they said that the city said that he could, since the practice facilities are privately owned, he could practice. The city said that, but the Nets were like, "No, you either with us or you against us." And yeah, so Kyrie's been about that life,
Right.
like, because he was fined earlier this year $50,000 for attending a birthday party without a mask, and then he was forced to quarantine, and then like for 5 days. And in that quarantine period, he missed 2 games, which he lost about $800,000 total for not being those 2 games. So now he's refusing to play. He's losing money, but he's saying he's doing it all for the voiceless. And I guess we can agree that this is a choice that Kyrie's making. But like, my question is like, how's he not fired? Like, how does he still have a job? You're refusing to do like what's necessary for your job.
Right. What's funny is, he assumed that he was that powerful on the team. They're on a super team.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets are a super team.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to make a stand for the voiceless. I'm not taking no vaccine. You ain't gonna make me take no vaccine. I'm gonna sit back and watch them change the rules. He's like, y'all think y'all can win the championship without me? Like, yeah, we have Kevin Durant, and I forgot his other name. This is a bad joke now. Yeah, but yeah, the beard. I can't think of his name. James Harden. But yeah, and they still have Griffin. It's like, dude, they have a great team.
Yeah.
But it's like, what Kyrie?
He thought he was really making a stance.
Yeah,
He was like,
we
y'all need me.
Watch, I'm gonna do this. This is my version. This is my version of taking a knee. Y'all can't force me to take a vaccine. And it's like, you are in an institution that has rules. That's like coming to my house and I say, hey, when you come in, you have to take your shoes off. You walk in like, I ain't taking my shoes off, man. I'm like, dude, you gotta leave. No, I ain't leaving.
Right.
It's like, dude, you're in my house. I'm asking you to take your shoes off because I don't know. It's like, this is my house. This is my rules.
The argument about rights to me almost feels like non-applicable here because it's like, because people are like, it's my personal freedoms. I have the right or not to take this vaccine. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. You also have the right to work and not to work.
Right.
And then it's just kind of like, you would never say, I ain't wearing that jersey. It's my right to free expression. It's like, no, you work for the entity, and that's one of the rules.
Yes. You can't play for Brooklyn Nets and decide
period Hornets jersey.
Yeah, period 3 December wear this Hornets jersey to shout out to my Uncle Frank. And it's like, no, you have rules. You have to wear the jersey of the team.
Yeah.
You have to there's rules that every player has to do in order to get paid. And you signed the contract to that. Yes, I mean, yes, you can take a stance, and yes, it's your rights, it's your body, but at the end of the day, you can either quit or play. And if you play, you have to abide by the rules.
Right.
Start your own league, man. Start your own street league that's on the streets, Rutgers Park, for all ex-players that want to take the vaccine. You probably get some sponsorships of some people.
Right.
But as of the NBA, this is what they're saying.
Right. Also, so there's people who are like, well, I mean, what's the difference in what he did and Colin Kaepernick did? So to that, I say,
Go for it.
So Colin Kaepernick took a knee, right? Mm-hmm. And then after the fact, the NBA was like, we don't like that. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to create a rule so you can't take a knee no more.
Right.
That is very different from, there is a worldwide pandemic.
Yes.
We're trying to protect our players and our fans. Mm-hmm. To make sure to lessen the opportunity for transmission for a disease that is killing people.
Right.
So please, everybody get vaccinated. Those are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
One was, like one person protest was like, I am protesting the fact that black people are dying at the hands of law enforcement. And the other is like, I am protecting my right as a black man to die at the hands of this disease. It is.
It's like, hey man, just and now it's kind of like just get rid of him, man, and find somebody as equivalent, as great as he is. Like Kyrie, you gonna have to sit this one out, bro. Yeah. They can fire somebody, right?
Well, I don't know how that works in terms of contract. Well, he's not fulfilling his contract.
Right.
He's refusing to play. So I would imagine. Or he's not doing what it takes that's required to play.
Right.
Like players riding motorcycles during the season is against contracts. They could get fined for that. Like, so it's like, not only is he losing money, he should be fined, and that sucks for his family who's probably like relying on this money. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's kind of like, I get it. Like if you don't want to get vaccinated, but you're gonna have to deal with all the consequences of not being.
I'm really curious to know what his future looks like.
Yeah. You think he'll give in, or at this point?
No, he has too many supporters of what he's doing.
Like Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, he got way too many supporters now, and I feel like he's speaking for that tribe of people, and now he don't want to, because in either direction he goes, he's going to be ostracized.
Yeah.
Because if he finally gets vaccinated,
like
they be like,
out.
told you, dude. Why you gotta be so stubborn, man? Just play the game. Or if he doesn't get vaccinated, now it's like, dude, you one of the greatest players of all time, and why are you doing this, man?
Right.
You ruined your career. All you worked for is for this.
Right.
I don't know no other civil rights person that well, Rosa Parks, but as in like there was a rule, and she said nah.
Yeah.
But that was a bigot rule.
Right. And so that's what people are saying, like this rule, this vaccine goes against people's rights. And I get it to a degree. Like, I understand that if you want to, like, you know, like, you're like, I don't want to take this vaccine. So that comes with consequences, though. Mm-hmm. You do understand that. But at the same time, it's like, this is a public health issue. It's not just this only affects your health issue. It's like, the more people that are vaccinated, the less dangerous this disease is now to the human race as a whole. Right. So we're trying to eliminate this disease, and it might not totally wipe it out, but it will help us keep it at bay. And so that's impacting other people.
Right.
And so it's almost selfish at this point to be like I have friends who are like, I'm not getting vaccinated. No government can tell me to get vaccinated. And I'm like, but you're vaccinated against like rubella and typhus and what's the tetanus? Like, right. You're vaccinated. You had to go to school. When you were born, 3 months later, you were vaccinated. Yeah. Now there's some real anti-vaxxers who've been anti-vaccxers since the beginning of their kid's life. Yeah. They can stand on that. Like, right. They've been about that life. But you who are just now refusing a COVID vaccine.
Yeah. From what you heard.
Because none of us are researchers.
Right.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not really researching.
I got to do my research.
On what? Are you going to read all the first source and the second source?
Can I ask you something? How did they get this vaccination out so quickly?
Science. Technology.
I just don't feel like
they've been doing research on SARS viruses for a very long time.
I kind of feel like they rushed it, and
again, they've been doing this type of research for a very long time. Technology has gotten us to where we can actually use AI to help us, drill down with and gather more info quicker than we could just as humans. And basically, the world shut down, so all the top scientists in the world started focusing their attention on a vaccine for this disease.
Mm-hmm. What can I ask you this, though? So when I go to a club and they ask for vaccination cards or a test that you've been recently tested, why do the people who has vaccination cards don't have to be tested? They can get COVID.
They're less likely to transmit and receive. Less likely, not 100% cleared.
Okay, that's cool. Can I ask you another question? Mm-hmm. They let Magic Johnson play basketball with full-blown HIV, but won't let Kyrie Irving play basketball. He won't get a COVID? Won't get a COVID shot?
So this strikes two questions, because I feel like Magic retired shortly after, right? Mm-hmm. But then there was also the fact that, how is HIV transmitted? How do you think you get HIV?
From blood, but people get hit in the nose and stuff, and blood comes out. Mm-hmm.
It's through liquids.
Yeah. So what if I elbowed in and it goes in my eyeball? Now, see? Full-blown HIV.
We call that AIDS.
Yeah.
People be saying some stuff like they really think that it's like deep, and you be like,
hey man,
people really think it out too. And I guess it's just like my perspective, because I hear stuff and I'll be like, so the dumbest thing I ever heard.
A lot of times people don't get down to the common denominator. So it'd be like even though they're right, you'd be like, but still it's 10 over 20. It was like, you're right. All the numbers check out. Let's break it down some more. That could be 2 over 5. Is that right?
No.
What is that?
1/2. It could be 2 over 4. Like, you break it down, 10 over 20.
Yes, 1/2. Yeah.
1/2.
Yeah. All that to say is, I was 10 over 20. All right. And then when somebody broke it down a little bit more, they're like, hey, you still wrong, but 10 over 20. Like, yes, that is a correct equation. Let's break it down some more. Let's get to the root of this. Where did you get this from?
People just
yeah. Anywho, what else you got?
That's all on my plate for
all
today.
Right. We are great with the hour.
We did really well with the hour.
Yeah.
That reverberated in my ear.
Well,
yeah. People hate when you slurp on the microphone.
Really?
Yes.
Somebody said that?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
You just, because you don't do away from the microphone. It's right there. Unless you want to start an ASMR channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's give a warm rousing applause to none other than Dion and // Twilla. No last name.
Wow. How you just trying to erase a black woman from the show?
Just did that. Thank you guys so much. We would like to give a sponsor to our
sponsor too?
Yeah, we would like to give a sponsor. I'm not doing the sponsor no more. Thank you guys so much for watching our podcast. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast on all platforms. This has been another amazing show. We had an amazing time. Thank you guys for listening. Today is October 14th.
Be sure to like and subscribe and comment wherever you may listen or watch.
What's the benediction?
Now, between me and thee, I don't remember.
Oh Lord, my strength and my redeemer. It's how long? Hold on. Let the words of my mouth.
The meditation.
Let the words of my mouth, meditation of thy sight.
Thy heart.
Okay. For the real Baptist, Apostolic, Pentecostal folks, can y'all please help us out with this benediction?
Yes, we struggling.
How does it go? Let the words of my mouth, meditation of my heart, be acceptable by sight. O Lord, my strength and my redeemer.
That ain't it.
Let the church say, amen.
Amen, I think.
And the funny thing is, we didn't have Google. That's not in the Bible at all.
Well, there was one version of the benediction that was in the Bible. And my pastor used to say it. And then when we got a new pastor, he was like, we're not going to say that no more. Because that's what David and Jonathan said right before they split ways to fight one another. So it was just like...
You remember that?
Yep. I was trying to find the benediction prayer. May the strength of God sustain us, the power preserve us. We never said that one.
Never said that.
That must be a white people church
That's
one.
the message version.
I was like, we never said that. We'll find out. Whatever.
No. Help us out.
Help us out.
Toodaloo. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.